Hello everyone, this is Priyanka, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science. In this video lecture, I am going to explain about functions in Python. What are functions? Functions are just block of statements that will do any specific task. Now, why do we need Python functions? Functions are basically used to do some repetitive tasks. Suppose you want to do some task again and again in any program. Instead of coding that again and again, we will put these statements into functions so that you can reuse the function whenever needed. We will see with examples, so we will understand it much more better. So we will cover all these topics. First, we will see how to create a function and how to pass the parameters inside the function. Then we will see default arguments and keyword arguments. Finally, we will see functions returning values. First, this is how we will create a function. I've displayed the syntax of function. First, we will start with the keyword called def, D-E-F. Then followed by the name of the function. And within parentheses, we have to give the parameters. And we have to end the statement with a colon. Then we have to indent the statements inside the functions. Finally, if we have something to return, we will give the return statement at the end. This is a basic example of functions. As we have seen in the syntax, we have started with def, the keyword for functions. Then the name of the function here is welcome. Open and close parenthesis. Finally, I have given the colon. Here, we have not given any parameters. Parameters are optional. If you have anything to pass, you can give it as parameters. If not, you can give it blank. The statement inside the function is just a print statement welcoming you all to the world of Python. Let's see how this works in a Python idle. Now we have opened Jupyter Notebook. Let's define the function. So we have to start with def, followed by name of the function, parenthesis and colon. Python will automatically indent your programs. Now I'll give the print statement. Welcome to the world of Python. That's it. I will just execute the program. Now if you see, I've executed the function, but there is no output. Even though I've given the print statement here, but that is not printed. Why? Because I have just defined the function. The function will only be executed if we call the function. So we have to call the function after defining it. So the definition is over here. How I am going to call the function? Just call with the function name. So this is the name of the function followed by the parenthesis. See? So this is the function call statement. Once I've given the function call, automatically our Python will execute the function and the output is printed. Welcome to the world of Python. Hope you have understood the basic Python functions here. Let's move on to the next segment. So this is the function call statement. So after creating a function in Python, we can call it by using the name of the function, followed by the parenthesis. Now next we will see some more examples. So I've given Python function with parameters. So previously we have seen function without parameters. Now we will see function with parameters. So inside the parenthesis we have to give the parameters. So here again the function starts with the def keyword followed by the name of the function. Inside the parenthesis here I've given two parameters, n1 and n2. So which means I am passing two numbers. And I've done a simple addition here and then I am printing the sum. Let's see how this works in Python. Def add is the name of the function. I'm going to give two parameters here, n1 and n2. Inside the function, I'm going to give sum is equal to n1 plus n2. then I'm going to print. So that's all. I'm just executing it. As you can see, Python will not produce any output if you execute the function. The function will only be executed if you call that function. So I'm giving the name of the function. Now I have to pass the parameters. So I have two parameters to be passed, n1 and n2. I'm passing two numbers here, 5 and 3. So 5 will be passed into n1 and 3 will be passed into n2. Let's see how the output is. See, the sum of two numbers is 8 because we've passed two numbers 5 and 3. This is a very simple function with parameters. Again, this is also a similar example. If you see, the name of the function is even odd. This is a simple program where we are going to find whether a given number is even number or odd number. So the number is passed into the x parameter. So any number which is passed will be stored into x. So x modulo 2. If the modulo is equal to 0, then we will print it's an even number, else it is a odd number. This is the basic logic. Let's try it. Name of the function is even odd. We are going to pass only one parameter here. We are going to give one number and the Python is going to tell us whether it is a even number or it is an odd number. If x modulo 2 is equal to 0, then I'm going to print even number. Else print odd number. So you can see here, this is a function block. So I have given colon here and I have indented it. Next, this is a if block. So I have given colon here and I have indented according to the if block. So I've executed. Now I am going to give a function call here. I'm going to pass a number and Python will tell us it is an odd number. Again, I'm going to call. I'm going to give another number, even number. You can see here, whenever I want to find whether a given number is odd or even, I will just call the name of the function and I'll just pass the parameters. I'll not repeat the code again and again whenever I want to find whether a given number is odd or even. This is a basic need of a function. In these ways, functions are very useful. Instead of repeating the same lines, same code again and again, you can easily put it inside a function and you can call whenever needed. Now moving on to default arguments. As in the name, default arguments, which means we are going to give some default values to the parameters. So see the example, very simple example here. Show info is the name of a function and I'm going to pass two parameters here. One is name, another one is city. So for city, I'm going to give some default value which is Chennai. So for city, I'm giving a default value. I'm going to print name and city. This is our function needs to be properly intended. Okay, now we will see how it works in our Python Jupyter book. You can see def. Show info is the name of the function. I'm going to pass two parameters. One is name, another one is city. For city, I'm going to give the default value as Chennai. So which means most of the values that I'm going to pass is going to have the city as Chennai. So in that case, I can give the default value as Chennai. I have to give colon, then I'm going to print the name and the city. I'll just execute it to check whether I have any errors or not. Yes, now our function is ready. Now see how I'm going to call. There are many different ways to call a default argument function. So show info is the name of the function. Now I have to give a name. Say for example, I'll give ABC. Now I can either give the city name or I can leave it blank. Okay. So if I execute this, see, the name is printed as ABC. I haven't passed any city here, but automatically what my Python does is it takes the default value which I have set already, Chennai. So the city is printed as Chennai. Now I'll repeat the same with some other city. Suppose if I want the second entry to be printed. Now the name is going to be XYZ. I'll change the name. Now the XYZ city is not Chennai. If it is Bangalore, what I will do, I can give the city name as Bangalore and now I can print. See? So if there is any change, always Python accepts it. You can give any city, the Python will print that. If we miss the city argument, intentionally or unintentionally, in both cases our Python will take the default value. So suppose, imagine if we have a organization where most of the employees are in Chennai. Only few employees are in some other city. So for only those employees whose city is different, I will give their name and city. For others, I'll just give name. This is the advantage of default argument. Here the most important note is we cannot change the order of the parameter. It's always necessary to pass the arguments in the same order. See here I have given name and city. So whenever I am passing the arguments, I should always pass it as name and city. Next to default arguments, keyword argument. Here I've told you we must always pass the parameters in the same order. Here Python provides us another new way where the caller does not need to remember the order of parameters. It's okay if we don't remember the order also. Python provides another way. See here I've given the example def student is the name of the function. First name and last name is being passed as a parameter. So I'm just printing the first name and last name. Now suppose this is just an example. Suppose I forgot. Suppose that this function is created long back and now I want to pass the student's name into this function. Now what happens is I forgot whether I've given the first name first or the last name first. In this case, what we can do is, if you see here, student, first name is equal to I've given the name, last name is equal to I've given the name. So first name will be Guido and last name will be Rosen. Or else you can also change the order, but you have to mention the name of the parameter here. Last name is equal to Rosen and first name is equal to Guido. So we can give the name of the parameter and we can give the actual value. So in this case, you can change the order also. We'll see another example. In the same example, if you see def show info. So here I have given the created the function with name and city. Say for example, new employees have joined my company after 6 months of opening my company. Now I have to pass on their entries to show info function. Now I forgot whether I've given name as the first argument or I've given city as the first argument. I don't know, I don't remember. Now what I can do is, when passing the parameters, I can just give name is equal to XYZ, city is equal to Bangalore. Or I can also give city is equal to Bangalore, name is equal to XYZ. So now our Python reads the name of the parameter and then it puts that values in an appropriate parameter names. Okay, so we have given city is equal to Bangalore and name is equal to XYZ. So when you are mentioning the name of the parameters, you can anyways change the order. Python will automatically detect the correct order. Okay, now what happens? See, the default value Chennai is picked up. So that's all about functions. We have seen how to create a function, how to call a function. We have learned how to give default or default values to our parameters and then keyword arguments. Finally, return statement in Python function. So after doing all the calculations, if you want to return the value back to the main function, you can always do so. See here, I have given the function name as square value, passed one value, and we have just squaring that value and returning back to the main function. Definition square. I'm just passing one function here, passing one parameter here. Return. So I'm just going to call that by passing the value. Executing it. See, the number 49 is returned. What happens if I don't give the return function? Nothing will be printed. See? So since I have given the return statement here, the value will be returned back. So the value will be returned and it will be saved in Square. Then I can do some more calculations. So that's all about functions. Hope the topic is clear. That's all about functions. Thank you so much for watching.